From our free daily newsletter, the latest from podnews.net with Spots Now. A measurement tool combining data from different sources, the Bumper Dashboard, is now available for every podcast for free. The tool's new Bumper Score will also be available, what the company calls a standard benchmark that compares podcast performance in context. The company's also announced MCP server access for AI assistance. Coolio.ai, a podcast production platform, has unveiled a significant upgrade. The tool aims to combine recording, editing, sound design and publishing. It now allows collaboration and automated audio cleaning and mastering tools. It's Black Music Month and the Almanac of Rap podcast is celebrating with a podcast mixtape, highlighting a hand-picked collection of independent podcasts covering music, culture, history and wellness. In Indonesia, Podcast Day Asia is to return this year as Podcast Creators Day. It's part of Radio Days Asia, but you can just register for Podcast Creators Day if you prefer. I'll be speaking at the event in Jakarta. Podnews is a sponsor. How are lawyers and legal professionals using podcasts in Canada? A new study from One Stone Creative examines these shows, suggesting that podcasting is effective for law firms. What did you miss at the podcast show in London? The Podglomerate writes a recap and analysis about what they saw and what it means. So did Rachel Corbett from Nova Podcasts in her monthly newsletter. Podcasting's dirty secret. No one wants their real numbers, says Steve Raises, telling us that standards do not get voted in, someone imposes them, and asks whether you or your show could survive being measured in public. Well, we link also today to the public download figures for our podcast, which rather answers that question. And the entry deadline of the Independent Podcast Awards has been extended. You've now got until June the 22nd. It's a Monday, so time for some tech stuff with RSS.com, and Alberto Bitella has proposed an AI content disclosure flag in RSS and is asking the Podcast Standards Project to adopt it. There's a standalone demo of proposed UI patterns and an invitation to comment on GitHub. Podnews already supports that tag on a channel level. In the Podcasting 2.0 podcast, Adam Curry proposed the Podcast Data Collective, publishing follows, plays per episode and completion rate by time for all podcasts. The data would come from a variety of independent apps, which are estimated to be 10% of all consumption. The data would be free in beta. 61.2% of May's new podcast episodes were available over IP version 6. Mobile networks in some parts of the world are IPv6 only, which is why it's important. AWS CloudFront only does IPv6 if you turn it on, and 27% of podcast hosts haven't done so. The data is from John Spurlock's Livewire. The audio and video tool FFmpeg can run in your browser using WebAssembly, and one developer has made this front end for FFmpeg, which we link to today, which runs completely on your browser. It's also open source. Their front end is video only, but perhaps someone would like to build an audio version that normalizes audio to the correct LUFS level, adds a bit of compression and limiting, spots or removes large silences, or even produces a visualized version for video platforms. And Tom Ross's suggestion to help podcast hosting companies to better identify apps that download video files, which we reported last week, has gone down like you'd expect, with Marco Arment one of the noisiest detractors. But, as I suggest, it could mean a whole new economic model for podcast apps. And in podcast news, with Airwave since 2006, My History Can Beat Up Your Politics has been using history to elevate today's political debates. The Columbia Journalism Review calls it thoughtful, nuanced and highly engaging. It's hosted by Bruce Carlson. First America has been announced by Pushkin Industries and Critical Frequency, a new narrative podcast that explores the untold story of the United States' origins through the unwritten native history of the country. Stick to Football is off to the World Cup. The show is hosted by Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Ian Wright, Jamie Carragher and Jill Scott, and will broadcast from New York throughout the World Cup. The shows from The Overlap and Clara and Munro Are Into It is new from British broadcaster Clara Amfo and activist, model and writer Munro Bergdorf. The two are bringing their unrivaled access from the red carpet to the studio and encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture to unpack the moment's dominating culture. They're unpacking the moment to get into it and want you to be too. And this podcast is sponsored by Spots Now. Spots Now is the AI operating system for podcast advertising, RFPs, vetting and outreach. Now you can handle them all with custom agents, enabling your sellers to close 30% more. Book a free demo at spotsnow.io/OS, or you can use the link in the show notes. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe for free, we're at podnews.net.